Yes, sir.
Ray Comfort, you're a false prophet.
Okay.
Way of the Master. Hold on a second. Let me say it. The way of the Master is a false gospel because it's condemnation. Look it up.
Yeah.
You already know because you know the people. Hold on. You know the people that said the same thing. They've exposed it. So you're preaching a false gospel because Jesus never did that. He never walked up to people because you're saying that he did it like that.
So looks like Ray Comfort is even a little bit hated by his own people. That's amazing. They can even smell a grifter when they see one. They smell a grifter. They know one, okay? But they can smell him too, I'm sure. He probably smells weird. And he's doing these interviews, and he's so known as somebody who's just an asshole that goes around literally calling people names. That he like goes up to them, puts a camera in their face, and then starts name calling. It's like, so you've told me that you're an evil, garbage, terrible, awful person because you've looked at a woman with lust in your heart. That's not the way you show the love of Jesus. Even the fundies can tell that he's just an awful person. We're going to get into it. I'm Brentley. This is the Punk Apostate. Let's go.
Exploring, right? So
We got a problem. Yes, sir.
Ray Comfort, you're a false prophet.
Okay.
Way of the Master. Hold on. Let me say it. The way of the Master is a false gospel.
He got up there. I was like, oh man, I forgot. I was like, and now I'm nervous. And I practiced this. I practiced it like 4 times in my head as I was walking up here, and I'm still dropping the ball. I'm dropping the ball.
Because it's condemnation.
so that means he also created cancer that babies get, all the diseases in the world that people get.
Gotta say, I really like this guy's hat. He's got a great hat. Just saying.
Your God is a horrible monstrosity of evil.
Man, it's great to be here. That does the Kiwi guy, man, that does the thing.
Okay, I think this is just a random impression guy, and I love it. I'm here for it. I think if Ray did more of this, just going on, just running around the streets and being like, hey, what can you do? What's a fun thing you can do? Can you, get people break dancing? Maybe just like get some random break dancing in the streets. Like, just let's do a talent search, right? In between all of your condemning people. This was a nice touch. Okay, this keeps it moving along a little bit better, I think.
Hey, I don't know that it's so.
That was Mike Lindell, by the way. I don't know if it took me a minute, and I'm like, I know this voice, I know it, and then it took me a minute. Oh, it's Mike Lindell. Okay, unmistakable.
Fantastic! It really is great to be here, and nobody shares the gospel like this guy. He's a fantastic guy. Really is a wonderful guy. It's beautiful, and I love the Bible. By the way, did I tell you that's a great book?
That was pretty good. All right, that was a solid. That was a solid impression for Trump. That's good. I can't do Trump very well. I'm going to be completely honest. I just, part of it like grosses me out. Like I don't want to. Okay, that's why. Because I don't want to. All right, guys. I don't want to have to think about that guy more than absolutely necessary, which is already way too much.
Do you believe in God's existence?
No, I don't. No,
Why not?
because I have done a lot of studying and a lot of research.
So you like science and evidence.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to give you some science and evidence to prove God's existence.
Okay, continue.
All right, let's hear it. And I've not seen anything that has proven to me that there's a God.
Who made your hat?
Whoever makes hats,
Yeah, hat couldn't have made itself, could it?
correct?
It'd be crazy to think hat made itself.
That's correct.
Everything made had a maker.
I see where you're going with this.
It's quite simple.
It's quite
Okay, everything made had a maker. That's what's called begging the question. You're assuming your conclusion in your premise. You're just and this is like presuppositionalism to a T. They just act like they're already right. Which is the main thing religion does, right? Religion is just all about just deciding that you're already right. Because that's what religion does. Religion is basically, faith in general, is just already deciding that you're right. That's what presuppositionalists do, right? And they just kind of start from this conclusion that everything had to be made. And then he's starting from that, saying everything that was made had to have a maker, right? It's almost like me saying that Ray Comfort, that Ray Comfort's wife is a domestic abuse victim. So that means that Ray Comfort has to be a domestic abuser. And he's like, no, there's no evidence of that. There's no evidence that I'm a domestic abuser. Yeah, but I said, like, look, every domestic abuse victim has to have a domestic abuser. You live with her. You're her husband. You're a domestic abuser. That's what he's doing. That's all he's doing here, just with creation and creating things and all that.
It's simple, but I don't believe that's the case.
Why not?
I'm much more a believer in a scientific approach, something like the Big Bang, where
But the hat analogy is a scientific approach. It's
What are you talking about? The hat analogy is a scientific approach? No, it's not. It's just a fundamentalist metaphor, and it only makes sense to people that have already decided that God had to be the creator of everything anyway. Because it's just starting from your conclusion and working your way backwards, and then trying to bully everybody into seeing everything exactly the way you do.
it's the hat to have a maker because it's designed for your head.
right. But I can go back and I can trace this hat back and find out who made it, who put it together, what factory it was built at, who built the factory, to find out where this hat was made. I can't find that out about the universe.
Of course you can. Let me give you the information.
Sure.
The Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There's your facts.
The Bible, that is not a fact.
The hat maker.
That is not a fact.
So you're
That's the fact. It's like, let me just take you back to the Bible. Okay. The Bible says, okay. But keep in mind, it also says that a donkey had a debate with a guy and won. It also says that a man walked on water. It says that some dude came back to life. Said that some woman made of a rib was convinced by a talking snake to eat a magical fruit. And that's why hurricanes happen. Yeah, I don't think we should trust that. I don't think we should trust that book. It says all sorts of stupid stuff.
an atheist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tim, do you really believe the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything?
What about the scientific impossibility that a man walked on water? What about a scientific impossibility of a talking donkey? What about a scientific impossibility of a woman made of a rib was convinced by a talking snake to eat a magical fruit, and that's why hurricanes happen? What about those scientific impossibilities? I think the Bible's full of a lot more scientific impossibilities. And by the way, that's not actually a scientific impossibility. That nothing create everything. You're just saying like it's a scientific impossibility that God didn't make everything. Like that's all he's doing. Again, assuming his conclusion and his premise like a child. He has exactly one line that he starts with these. It's so sad.
Not that there was nothing in the beginning, but nothing created flowers and birds, the sun, the moon, the stars, the seasons, puppies, kittens.
I believe that they all randomly occurred. So for you to say that it was all created by a God is just as plausible as me saying it was all just randomly created.
You can't even use the word created if you're an atheist.
Yeah, you can. Think about it this way. If there was a hurricane, which is a naturally occurring thing that happens, and a dam built up in a river because of all the branches and everything that fell into the river and it created a dam, it would have created a dam. But no intelligence created that. Not even a beaver. Just randomly, the sticks all just piled up because of the natural laws of the universe and the water and those forces pushing everything in those different ways. And then that created a beaver, like a dam.
No, you can't. It means there's a creator if it was a creation.
Not exactly true.
Could it be that you've been doing things in your life that God would morally frown upon them? That's why you deny his existence?
I love how he's so accusatory while also asking a question. He uses the Socratic method to accuse people. It's incredible. Could it be that it just happens to be the case that that you want to do things that God says is bad? And that's why you're like, nothing had to create everything. See, you're just crazy because you don't want to follow the rules. That says you can't even look at a woman with lust.
Could that be right?
No.
Fantastic book. I love 2 Corinthians. I love Nehemiah. It's a great book.
More random Trump impressions. I'm here for it. Can you do this for the entire video next time, please?
Can you build a huge wall?
Well, every building is proof of a builder. Even though you can't see the builder, could have died years ago. There was a builder because of the building. Every painting is proof of the painter. Painter could have died 500 years ago, but there was a painter because the painting exists. Paintings don't paint themselves. And creation is evidence of God's creative hand. Creation cannot create itself. Utterly impossible.
There are
creation cannot create itself. Yeah, and it's just like your wife is a domestic abuse victim, right? So you have to be a domestic abuser. Why? Because I framed it that way. That's why.
Things that we don't know yet that we're still exploring, right? So
We're gonna
You
problem.
can't be too intellectually honest like that, okay? It's you're really messing up Ray's whole thing. You got to act like you know stuff you couldn't possibly know. That's what Ray's trying to get you to do.
Yes, sir.
Ray Comfort, you're a false prophet.
He sure
Okay.
is.
Way of the master. Hold on a second. Let me say it. The way of the master is a false gospel
Oh boy, you just
because it's condemnation. Look it up. You already know because you know the people. Hold on. You know the people that said the same thing.
Oh, he forgot what he was doing. I love how religion brings people together, don't you? It's like the love of Jesus, you know? It just brings everybody together and gets them to fight over a bunch of nonsense that doesn't even make sense. And it's just like everybody looking at the Bible a different way and interpreting it different. And that means that you're bad, you're a false prophet, and you're hurting people and all this. But I believe this other part about the Romans 9, and so I'm right about that. And you Calvinists are weird, and I don't like you. Oh, dividing people since 2,000 years ago. I don't know when that was.
They've exposed it. So you're preaching a false gospel because Jesus never did that. He never walked up to people because you're saying that he did it like that. But
Mark
that's
10
not,
verse
hold on,
17.
Hold on. That's not how
It's
Jesus.
like I know I inflected that like it was a question. It was not a question. Okay. It's like you're saying that he did it like that. Hold on. No, I'm sorry. I raised my voice. I don't know why I did that. I'm still talking. It wasn't a question.
Jesus did it.
Well, thanks for your thoughts. I'm going to carry on with my friend here. Thank you. Well, thanks for your patience with
yeah,
that.
Ray, no worries.
We're talking about what an atheist believes. An atheist believes the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything.
What about the scientific impossibility that nothing created God? What about the scientific impossibility of the man walking on water? What about the scientific impossibility of a woman made of a rib? I feel like I already did this. You have way more scientific impossibilities, Ray. You have way more. Why even bring up science? I don't understand why they do this. It's like you don't even believe in science. He doesn't even believe in evolution.
That's what an atheist believes. Either there was a creator or everything happened by chance or nothing made it. All those things.
Everything happens by chance. I mean, that's just a fact. Everything happens by chance. Everything that happened by some kind of chance. Okay. But the thing is, if you actually look at the data, things couldn't have happened any other way. So it's really a 1-to-1 ratio that the natural laws of the universe caused things to happen the way that they happen. That is the number one assumption that we have to start with, presupposition we have to start with for science to work at all, is that the laws of nature and the laws of physics are unbendable, and everything functions consistently with the laws of physics always working consistently. So when we start with that presupposition, it has led us to like all these breakthroughs in science. Like look how advanced we are scientifically because of that presupposition. And that presupposition basically ties the hands of any kind of creator. Even if there was some sort of creator, it basically tied its own hands right at the beginning, because everything is governed by the natural laws of the universe. And every time we've ever investigated anything even close to that and used that assumption as like a guiding principle for science, we've always been right. And we've always had results.
We talked about before. Do you ever read the Bible?
I have read a good portion of the Bible. I grew up Christian, Presbyterian, until I was like 16 years old.
Were you born again?
Just born the once.
Okay, you got to be born twice. John chapter 3, Jesus said that. You got to be born a second time. That's when you come to know the Lord and find everlasting life. So let's go from your intellect to your conscience. Can you handle that?
You got to be born again. Yeah, you got to do what I'm telling you to do, okay? Because I got all the answers, okay? I know all the stuff better than you or anybody else for that matter. Even that guy that came up and said I was a false prophet.
I'll give it a try.
Okay, this is what that guy was talking about.
So you're preaching a false gospel because Jesus never did that. That's not how Jesus did it.
So let's go to the scriptures and see how Jesus did it.
Oh, Ray's gotta.
He's like, I'm going to prove him wrong right now. Watch this, okay? I'm going to find a Bible verse where Jesus was kind of a dickhead. He was kind of a dickhead.
Mark 10, verse 17. Now, as he was going out on the road, one came running, knelt before him, and asked him, "Good teacher, what shall I do that I may inherit eternal life?"
That actually already sounds different. What do you mean? It's like somebody came up to him? Huh. Is that what you do, Ray? Is that what you do? People, you wait, you just sit and wait. You wait for people to come up to you and ask you how they can be saved. Is that what you're doing? No, I don't think that's what you're doing. You're doing something different. You're doing the opposite. Yeah, you're going up to people that you don't know and calling them bad people. Yeah, no, it's a, but anyway, continue how you're doing it exactly like Jesus or whatever.
So Jesus said to him, "Why do you call me good? No one is good but one, that is God."
Which again is another part that makes no sense. What do you mean? Why would Jesus say, "Why do you call me good? Nobody's good. I'm not good." Almost makes it sound like he didn't even think that he was God or the Son of God or anything even close to that. Just saying, okay? I mean, I know, look, they love to rationalize around these things, but I love it when they just put it out there and then act like their interpretation is just so perfect, when really this just shows that Jesus didn't even think he was God.
Jesus corrected his understanding of the word good. That's because most people think they're good. And that's why I asked them, "Do you think you're a good person?"
Listen to that mental gymnastics. How did you do that? How did he go from there to there? That's incredible. So he started out, it says right here, it says, so Jesus said to him, "Why do you call me good? No one is good but one, that is God." Basically saying, I'm not God and I'm not good, right? He takes this whole part to mean, oh no, he was trying to redefine what the word good meant because everybody thinks they are good. What are you talking about? That makes no sense whatsoever. It's incredible how they can get from these words to the words that are coming out of his face.
Then Jesus gave him 5 of the 10 commandments. As we go through them, you'll notice he strangely added, "Do not defraud," perhaps inferring that this rich young man gained his riches through fraud. You know the commandments: do not commit adultery, do not murder, do not steal, do not bear false witness, do not defraud, honor your father and your mother.
Well, it's kind of sad because the guy that Ray made a video about telling everybody they need to vote for, yeah, he's done a lot of that fraud stuff. In fact, he's kind of, anyway, that's not what we're talking about. I don't want to talk about him. Okay, we're not talking about this. I don't know what I'm doing. Stop it. Stupid.
Mark 10, verse 17 to 19.
I'm really enjoying reading this book. You know, people give me books all the time.
Whoa, who's that?
All the time.
What's happening?
And somebody gave me this book at a Change My Mind event at Cal State Fullerton. And I looked at it and it said over 350,000 copies in print. I said, wow. I looked it up. It's an author by the name of Ray Comfort. I'd never heard of him. I'm sure some of you are going to ridicule me for that.
I'm going to ridicule you for other things, but go on.
And it's terrific. And it talks about the proper way to present the gospel. So I'm just going to tease you about that, and we'll really dive into it on Friday. I'm so glad whoever gave it to me, I don't know your name. Thank you. We'll be right back.
The book to what?
Wow. So he's got the glowing endorsement of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is possibly the most racist public right-wing figure out there. Besides maybe, David Duke or whatever. I guess David Duke has him slightly. I'm sure they do a timeshare together or something like that. But Charlie Kirk is absolutely one of the most racist people out there. It's incredible. And so, you know what? Actually, let me. I don't want you to take my word for that.
I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. The great
Wow, he can't even say. If anybody is just like, we should market this job to more people of color. His automatic thought is, well, then a bunch of unqualified people are going to have those jobs. You know why? Because, of the way he just assumes things about black people that aren't true.
Placement strategy, which is well underway every single day on our southern border, is a strategy to replace white rural America when MLK was alive.
Wow. So it's the great replacement. Okay. What was it that they said at the Charlottesville thing that somebody will not replace it? I don't know. Something they said. I was
live. His approval rating was rather low, right near 30%. So his contemporaries did not think very highly of him. In fact, even in the decades that followed, it was a big lift to get it to become a federal holiday. Now he has an approval rating near 96 to 98%. How is that possible, Vince? It's one of the most popular people. He's as real as Aslan from Chronicles of Narnia or Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. Only something fake and fictitious could get a 96% approval rating.
So you could see that Charlie Kirk is racist. So let's see Rittenhouse's response to the person who asked a question about Charlie Kirk's racism. Take a look.
Okay, I'll answer the question of racist things he said. He says we shouldn't celebrate Juneteenth. We shouldn't celebrate Martin Luther King Day. We should be working those days. It's called Ketanji Brown Jackson, an affirmative action hire. He's talked nonsense about George Floyd. And he said he'd be scared if a black pilot was on a plane. Does that not seem racist? I don't know anything about that.
No. Does that seem racist? Is a yes or no question, Kyle.
After all the things I just told you, would you consider that hate speech? I'm not going to comment on that.
Deflection!
Even Kyle Rittenhouse couldn't, he was unable to defend the guy that Ray Comfort, this guy that wags his finger in everybody's face and says that they're all blasphemous and lustful at heart. Yeah. That guy has a glowing endorsement from probably the most racist popular content creator on the right-wing circuit.
Like, you're a racist at heart, right? If the racist loves the same thing you do, sounds like you're a racist at heart.
What she's referring is called God Has a Wonderful Plan for Your Life.
Oh, wow. Very well. Yeah, wow. Think about great title, Ray. That was just glad you came up with that yourself.
Don't be distracted by this free offer and stop watching this video.
All these people like, oh my God, there's a free offer. I'm going to stop this video right this second and I'm going to run right out and buy it. Okay. And say, oh, wait. Oh, he said not to. Okay. I was distracted. I was distracted by it. I'm so glad that he told me not to do that. But thanks so much for watching. If you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/punkapostate. And that has all the stuff that YouTube will not allow me to keep on YouTube. So if you want to go there and see that, you can also do a one-time payment on Cash App. I really appreciate anything you can do there. And it's our cash tag is punkapostate, all one word. So if you want to do any of that stuff, that'd be great. You can also become a member. We do have our membership now. We have a live stream, a members only live stream once a week on Wednesdays, Wednesday mornings. So if you want to do that, also, I'm always accepting super thanks, and I'll be giving shout outs, and I'll be thanking the super thankers on each following video. So, but thank y'all so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate y'all choosing to spend your time with me. It really means a lot. But the main thing, though, is to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we'll see you next time.